My dear brothers and sisters, we come to the important day today, the third day in which we have been discussing the role of yoga in hypertension. And we as usual start with our prayer. Om Bhadrang Karnebhihi Om Bhadrang Karnebhihi Shrunuyama Devaha Bhadram Pashyema Akshabhir Jajatraha Sthirairangaihi Tushtuvagum Sastanubhihi Vyashema Devahitam Yadayuho Om Shanti 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 Let us all start hearing very auspicious things as the manifest of pure consciousness. Let us see everything divine in the world. Let our whole body be tuned to that ultimate reality, and let us have peace inside, peace immediate surroundings, and throughout the universe will bring peace. That's a wonderful Shanti chant that we have. Thank you very much. We have seen over the last 2 days that the modern NCDs are not merely physical. It is not one-dimensional. They are multi-dimensional challenge. Physical, mental, emotional, intellectual. And the modern allopathy is only one-dimensional, based on the matter-based approach. How can you solve a multi-dimensional challenge with one-dimensional solution? That's how we have failed to give a complete solution to this modern NCDs. Asthma, diabetes, hypertension, heart problem, epilepsy, migraine, irritable bowel syndrome, and all these things, we have no solution. Once a diabetic, ever a diabetic. Once you got hypertension, for life. Once you get cancer, your days are numbered, have come to pass. What is the way out? It's here that India comes into picture with a complete knowledge base of the whole universe. This entire Jagat is made out of the 5 layers, 5 fields: electromagnetic field or the quantum field at the physical level, the pranic field or the bioplasmic field at the prana level, and we have the astral field or the mind field at the manomaya kosha. Then we have the information field or the intellectual field at the vijnanamaya kosha, and we have the causal thing that's the bliss field, anandamaya kosha. So there are 5 fields which are in continual interaction, and the whole Jagat is continually changing and changing and changing. A change in one brings change in the others. There is a continual interaction of the whole thing. For example, in our body, a billion cells get created every day, a billion cells get destroyed every day. Since we came, all our bodies have changed. And this is the entire Jagat. Jagatyan Jagat. That which goes on changing is called Jagat. They are governed by Srishti, Sthiti, Laya, or the equation, the trifold law of the entire Srishti. But there is something that's beyond. That is pure consciousness. That's our original state. That's the state of infinite knowledge, infinite bliss, infinite freedom, infinite bliss. And that's our original state. So the whole goal of yoga is to raise ourselves, expand ourselves from our small, petty, individual level to that all-pervasive thing. Jivatma becoming Paramatma. That's the role of yoga. So in the process, not only we build our health, but also towards the bliss, happiness, and go to the highest levels of achievement. That's what we have been talking. So in dealing with hypertension, just like in diabetes, we have to bring this total knowledge base to action. According to yoga, everything starts in the Manomoya Kosha, when the Viparaya comes down and becomes Adi. Adi is uncontrolled speed of the mind. We know what is right, we don't do right thing because we are governed by the emotions. Anger, greed, jealousy, hatred, infatuation, arrogance, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya, they govern us. Every diabetic knows that I should not eat sweet. But when you encounter the sweet, your tongue says, come on, go and eat. And you are succumb to that. So therefore, you go against what is right. That's the one that causes the imbalance, that causes the Adi. From there it starts, and that is the stress. At the highest level, Manomoya Kosha is called Adi, percolates down to the physical body and does this thing. And the Adi gradually percolating down to the Pranamaya Kosha and Annamaya Kosha causes autonomic imbalance, endocrine imbalance, and sets into the different parts of the body. Depending on which part of the body is weakest, then you succumb to that. And it becomes a Vyadhi. Adi becomes a Vyadhi. Whatever we do in the allopathic system is essentially at the body level, and therefore we don't have solution. So in integrative approach of yoga, you deal with Adi and the entire dimension. So we don't neglect. Whatever is needed in the external thing at the body level, we can use. So yesterday, Dr. Manchandala was mentioning how in the allopathic system, you have to take care of your food, less salt, and then probably you have a good walking and little bit of exercise and use what are all the food components, everything. You do that, nothing harm in it. Similarly, if the sugar level, the hypertension becomes too much, you can take some things which are reducing the thing, everything you can do. But this will not solve the problem. We have to see that everything is done. And the better thing will be even to prevent disease. So even before getting into sickness, can you have a lifestyle change in which you deal with the Adi and prevent the disease? That is most important thing. So entire oil system based on this lifestyle change, that's very important. So we are going to discuss about the stress problem and others. And today we have two great celebrities with us, the director of the Central Council of Research and Yoga and Naturopathy, Dr. Raghavendra Rao, and our Kaustubji is Homeopathy, the Director General of the Central Council of Homeopathy. Just like yesterday we had our celebrity, our Manchandaji, who came and gave a lot of inputs about these things. Now I request Raghavendra Rao to give his perspective. He is one of the topmost leaders, done a lot of research, and he has specialized in cancer and other things. So he will give a brief account of the research for a few minutes, about 10-15 minutes. Then from the homeopathy viewpoint, how we have been able to deal with hypertension cities, our Kaustubji is going to talk about this thing. With these things, over to Raghavendra. Please come.
Namaste everybody, Namaskar. So I think you must have heard about hypertension, right? Dr. Manchandra has come, he must have told you about what hypertension is all about and what it can really lead to. How many of you have checked your BP of late? Can you just raise your hands? How many of you have checked your blood pressure of late? Only 2, 3. Okay. So you, right? Because we check only when you think that you have some problem. Hypertension is like a silent killer. It doesn't give symptoms, let me tell you very clearly. You may not have symptoms, you may also have symptoms. Symptoms like headache, sweating, palpitations. Okay, all those things may also be there, but it can also be without symptoms. You will not be knowing you have hypertension unless and until you have gone to a doctor and checked your blood pressure. They see that, oh, your blood pressure is 160, 110. Oh, it's quite high. Okay, and when that happens, what you need to do is get the same blood pressure checked 2 more days. Two consecutive days at the same time. Okay, and you check the morning blood pressure, always check the evening blood pressure also, because blood pressure varies with time. And what if it is high in the morning, as after sleep also it is quite high, that means it's going to be much higher in the evening. because through the day you are taking a lot of stress, and that stress is there, which you are coping with, would probably create the blood pressure to go up in the evening as well. So this is a very important thing to understand, because there is a diurnal variability in the blood pressure. So if somebody sleeps well in the night and morning the blood pressure is coming down, very important to understand here is that person's blood pressure can be taken care of by proper stress management. But if somebody's blood pressure is quite high even in the morning after a good sleep, then we have to check out if there is some sleep disorder is also there or not, because there is what is called as sleep apnea. If you have excess fat inside if you're obese person and if you have excess fat in your throat and all, so your tongues will just roll back and fall back, and it causes snoring and causes the breath to just stop, and you suddenly wake up in the night with breathlessness, and that causes loss of sleep. And this is a very important factor which is seen now in adults above 40 years of age, and this is leading to hypertension, leading to obesity, leading to diabetes and whatnot, and heart disease as well. Very important risk factor for heart disease. So these are some important things which I am going to talk now is only about how stress can cause hypertension, what are the factors which are responsible for hypertension, how you can take care of it with yoga and simple measures in your home. Okay, these are very important because, as I said to you, hypertension is a silent killer. So once somebody gets a stroke, once somebody gets some heart attack, then you know, then you go to doctor and check all the checkup you do, you see everything is high, right? That's too late. Okay, symptoms won't come. Once the damage is done, it's done. So even before the damage is done, how to prevent it? So above 40 years of age, one should check the BP at least twice or thrice in a year. Okay, if you're not having hypertension. If you have hypertension, then monitor it every month. Okay, this is very, very important. Why I say this is because we never know when this hypertension will come, because there is a lot of survey which is done in the Indian context, Indian population. 1 in every 3 adult out of 40 has hypertension, means 30% prevalence in the population. 1 in every 3 adult. So in this, so many of them are there. Some of us will be having probably, right? So this is how it is. So 1 in every 3 adult above 40 years has hypertension. So it means to say that you are likely to have it. So better check it. This is very, very important. So as Dr. Manchandra has already told you about diet and other things, this is very important that salt to be controlled here, because salt will cause more water retention. More water retention means more blood volume, which means more blood pressure. See, now I also say hypertension is not just blood pressure, it is also brain pressure. It occurs without your knowledge. So we are, our mind type is, we have sattvic type, we have tamasic type, we have rajasic type gunas, right? All 3 are important. People think that only tamasic should not be there. No, tamasic is required. You want to sleep, you want to write peacefully, you want to laze around, you want to take a nap, tamasic guna helps. If you have rajasic phenotype, rajasic guna is too much, you are always hyperactive, you are always working hard, you are not getting rest at all. Where is the rest? Simple example I will give you. Early morning, we get up in the morning, 4 o'clock if you say, people say you do reading at 4 o'clock. Why? Anybody has any idea? Why Brahma Muhurta is very important? What is it got to do with it? Anybody has an answer for it? There is a hormone called cortisol. This is a stress hormone, but this is also a hormone which gives you a lot of drive, immense drive to do work. Early morning you feel so fresh, you feel so energetic, it's because of this hormone called cortisol. Now it is very high in the morning, okay, after sleep, it comes up, it goes up. And as the day goes by, it should come down, like this, downward slope should come down. Once it comes down, then night you will be able to sleep peacefully. Now suppose the whole day you have some stress in your office, in your family, in somewhere else, you are engaged in day-to-day stress. This hormone won't come down, it will be flat, or it will go up. Once it goes up, you will have restlessness, you will have difficulty to go to sleep, you will be tossing here and there in the bed, 15 minutes, 1 hour also you won't get proper sleep, very difficult, you feel restlessness when you sleep also. And after you sleep also, morning when you get up, you still feel tired, you don't feel fresh at all. That's because of this hormone called cortisol, which is quite high throughout. So this usually happens over a period of time. Now what happens with hypertension, I'll tell you. When you have this kind of stress throughout our lives, over a long period of time, you have what is called allostatic load. Means your brain requires this much amount of glucose, this much amount of oxygen, because always it is thinking, always it is on a high drive. Okay? Accelerator is already there in the 5th gear, 6th gear. So more fuel is required. Where is the fuel coming from? Your heart will beat faster, blood pressure is going to increase. Just like a hose pipe in the garden, you press the hose pipe more, the water flows with much more force, a longer distance, right? Same thing happens to your blood vessels. The signal is coming from your hypothalamus, your brain, tells the heart to beat faster, causes constriction of the blood vessels, small blood vessels in the arterioles, which increase your blood pressure, increase blood flow to the brain. Okay, so this is dangerous. This over a period of time is dangerous because the brain is setting up a different threshold. Now, without this much amount of glucose, this much amount of oxygen, I can't work. You better give it to me. So that blood pressure of that person, which is normal because earlier it was 120, 80, whatever it was, it goes up a notch higher. Now he can't work without the blood pressure about 140, 100. It is a normal for the person because he is in that particular state of mind. He is in a rajasic state of mind. So manaha prashamana upayaha is what yoga talks about. Calm down the mind, rewire the mind, prevent that kind of thing which has already occurred, that sensitivity which is already developed between your brain and your heart and your arterioles. Try to remove the sensitivity. That cycle has to be taken care of. And that can only happen when you slow down. Take a break. Understand what is happening, how you are reacting to situations. So what are the important things which can cause emotions, which can cause blood pressure to increase? Anybody? Anger. Anxiety is a behavior, palpitation which comes as a result of blood pressure. Emotion especially is your anger. So we have two brains. We have the forebrain, the frontal brain, which is called a thinking brain. Okay? This is a regulatory brain. This is a master control center. Then we have another brain inside, very important key factor called the limbic brain or the emotional brain. This is a center which receives all the thought processes. It relates it to the association cortex and tells you what to do, how to react to situations. If you are angry against somebody, if you are having hostility is something different. Having a grudge vendetta against some person, trying to do something bad to somebody else, thinking negative about something else. All the negative thoughts which are there in yoga are all related to hypertension. Anything, jealousy if you want to, or having some sort of this thing, anger, having hostility against somebody, all this which you expose, all the negative thoughts, kama, krodha, everything, all these things, and bhaya, everything, all these things will really lead to hypertension. Have you also heard about in hypertension what is the way of treating people? There is a guideline in the American Society or American Heart Association which says having a pet will help in reducing your hypertension. Why? What you are doing with a pet? Compassion, love, expansive awareness, calming down the mind. Opposite of it. So yoga need not be just asana here. Many things which can do, like giving out to others, having compassion to others, doing service in the community. All these things can even reduce your stress levels, bring out a lot of happiness. So replacing the negative thoughts with positive thoughts is what yoga talks about. So yoga is not just about only doing pranayama, asana, everything for this thing, but you have to go deep inside, change your psyche, change your mentality. All these things are there. Manaha prashamana upayaha is there. Chitta vritti nirodhaha. All the chittas are there. How do you try to supplement those? So go deeper, change your traits, change your characteristics. That's what yoga is all about. Okay, so there is where you need to go deeper. When you have the deepening of those things in that particular area, then the limbic brain which is there, which is highly hyperactive, highly overactive, will be taken over by the frontal brain, which is the thinking brain. So once that comes into fore, most of your diseases can be taken care of. Your pain will be taken care of. Hypertension will be taken care of. Asthma, allergies will just disappear. Acidity will come down. Okay, so these are some of the important things which can really happen when you do yoga interventions. So yoga, what we tell you, I tell you, I have a patient of mine, myself and Dr. Nagendra used to work in the clinic in Bangalore for 10 long years, in Surya clinic. I used to work with her in the OPD. So there was a person who came to us, a very big guy, business person, and he had a logistics company, very big logistics company throughout India, and every time he's on the phone. So he said to me, I do Surya Namaskar, 108 Surya Namaskars, I do yoga, everything I do, my BP is still high. I also have heart disease. Now doctor is saying I have to go for a stent, everything. Okay. Then his wife was sitting next to him. Then suddenly she said, Doctor, I told her, So ma'am, you also go for walking with him, no? Yeah, I go with him. What does he do in walking? I ask. He's always on the phone. What is he doing in the phone? He's shouting at somebody or other in the phone. Morning, some vehicle got stuck up in some checkpost. He's shouting at that fellow, get this done this. He's shouting at this driver, shouting at some his manager. So all the while, even though he's doing walking, he's just completely engrossed in something else. His anger, hostility, everything is there. So where is he relaxing? He's not relaxing. So after walking, he does Surya Namaskar. Then also again in the phone. Okay. So that is kind of thing is not really yoga. Leave everything aside. Try to calm down. Do self-talk to yourself. Talk to yourself. That is very important. How many of us sit down, have some 5 minutes for our own time? We don't give time for ourselves. No? We give time for everybody else. We give time for everybody in the family. We give time for everybody in the office. We give time for everybody who comes to us. But we don't give time for ourselves. That is very important. This self-talk. Okay? Because I do this self-talk every morning. I keep 15 minutes for that. Just sit, meditate, calm down, relax. What I did yesterday was wrong. What I can do today to correct. What is the consequence happening? How should I keep going? How should I relax? It makes a lot of difference. I will tell you just the other day, we just had a big conference in Mind Bodies Medicine workshop at PGH Chandigarh. It was Saturday. I was in a meditation conference on Friday evening. At 8 o'clock, I left there to go to Chandigarh. We had an accident on the road. Another vehicle dashed somebody. Somebody died there. We had to take that person to hospital, another person, injured person to hospital, all those things. Time we reached Chandigarh was 3:30 a.m. morning. I had a conference at 8 o'clock. My talk was there at 9 o'clock. Okay, no sleep. We were fully in the whole hyperdrive that day, whole night. I came down, just sat down, did relaxation, did cyclic meditation. Okay, and then I slept for about 1.5 hours something. Again, got up, did some pranayam. That's it. I was fresh enough to do the whole thing the whole day. So I did that self-talking, trying to calm down, relaxing is very, very important. Trying to take rest is also very important. Pause, relax. Unless you if you do that, then only you can overcome your blood pressure. So blood pressure is not just blood pressure, it's also brain pressure.
It is actually brain pressure.
Exactly. So your brain is saying something, that's why it's happening. Okay. There's one more thing again very important which we are doing one research study which I want to just share that details with you. This is on basic with respect to naturopathy and fasting and diet therapy. So 1/3 of the people who are hypertensives can be taken care of by just restricting salt. We have what is called salt sensitive genes. So what is a salt sensitive gene? This is a gene which increases sensitivity to salt. Like for example, if you can reduce salt by 25% and your blood pressure falls down by 10 millimeter of mercury, that means you are salt sensitive. So you can cut down the salt, your BP will come down to normal. So 1/3 of the population, 30% of them, you don't need medications. So if these people can be taken care of, it is very, very good. Okay, the same way you put salt to them, people increase. So this salt challenge and de-challenge when you do know, you can clearly come to know how is your BP. You can do it at home itself. टुडे आप दही खा रहे हो उसके साथ थोड़ा नमक डालो, देखो अब बीपी बढ़ रहा है नहीं, कल बढ़ रहा है तो अब यू आर सॉल्ट सेंसिटिव. ठीक है. So this is a very important thing which people should also learn, because people are not studying about this. Simply they are taking medicines. They take beta blockers, they take amlodipines, they take diuretics, okay, they take angiotensin inhibitors. What for? Long run this is not going to really help. And the doctors keep on saying do this, without telling anything what should be done here to correct here. So you're correcting everywhere, you're just doing patching work, trying to prevent the blood pressure from going up, trying to keep it under control with medicines. But what can really control the blood pressure, the master controller you're not touching. You're only switching off, using the switches outside. But the master MCP which is there here, you're not taking care of it. Switch it off. Then you don't have to press the other switches and other buttons at all. Okay? So this is very, very important with respect to yoga. So when you do yoga here, very important thing I want to tell you is breathing out. Pranayama. Slowing down the breath is the most important part of yoga for hypertension. So if you are breathing 13 to 16 cycles per minute, bring it down to 10 cycles per minute, that's all. 5 seconds inhalation, 5 seconds exhalation. And give more emphasis on long-term exhalation. Once you do this, it is called as what is called relaxation response. It activates the vagus nerve, the hypothalamus, and it causes vasodilation. Very simple. Learn to practice this daily. 5 minutes you just sit, do breathing out daily, you can see you will not have hypertension at all in your life. Okay, so just I end my talk. Thank you so much.
This is also in the training of US Army. How
Yes.
many seconds breathing, food and exhale.
Anybody knows how many minutes you can hold the breath?
This I have not counted, but again,
Any idea what
what
record? Do you know anybody?
5 to 60.
Huh?
5 to 60 per minute.
24 minutes they can hold the breath. So, that's a record by Belgian diver done in 2019. You can look up on Google.
As our Dr. Raghvendra, you just get into the concept of stress according to the modern medical thing, and then how it is defined in our Indian role, we can take up this thing. According to the stress master, Silly and Levy, they said stress is a response pattern. You know, we all have demanding situations, various types of demanding situations. So we all respond. You know, so this is a response pattern. Stress is a response pattern. It is non-specific. Everybody has to respond, and we respond based on the phylogenetics. That means based on our genes, how we are built up. Everybody is different, and then we do that differently. You know, some people respond very, very heavily. Some other people can take it in a very nice way. It all depends on how we are doing these things. You know, what is the purpose of this thing? The response prepares the body-mind complex for physical action. You know, to cope with the demanding situation. Imagine that there is here a sudden fire alarm. You know, then everybody has to react. Two types of reaction came up. One is a fight reaction, another is a flight reaction. We want to see how we can run away from here to take care of this thing. But somebody else will say, okay, let me see from where the fire has come and then let me quench it. Either a fight or a flight reaction. You know, for this to happen, there is a lot of changes that we need. More energy is needed for this thing to happen. We have to run. We have to find out from where we have to do everything. How this is accomplished, you know. So, the whole body prepares this body by an increased energy production. How to produce more energy? More sugar has to be burnt. So, sugar level in the blood increases. And you need more oxygen. So, breathing rate increases. And dilation of the bronchus occur. And therefore, more oxygen in every breath is going to come. So, sugar is available, oxygen is available. Where it has to be done? It has to be carried to the cell site for this reaction to take place. So, it has to be carried to all the different parts of the body. Very fast it has to go. How to do that? We got our pumping station. Starts, dug, 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 dug. BP increases, heartbeat increases, and the blood carries this thing to all parts of the body very fast, and it goes into the cell site. In the cell site, the reaction takes place and you get the energy. Once you get the energy, you have to run. So the muscles become very stiff and the eyes become very stiff, dilation of the pupil, you start seeing where we have to do, and there's sensitization of all parts of the body. You know, you can start hearing better, you start feeling better, you start seeing better, everything happens. Heightened awareness of all senses. This wonderful mechanism is set in our body for the stress. It is very necessary. How it is accomplished, as I was mentioning, you know, when you perceive this thing, the higher centers of the brain, the emotional cortex, anger, fear, tension, any other thing that can happen, you know, it triggers the hypothalamus. Hypothalamus in turn triggers the stress reactions. You know, what happens is two types of things. One on the nervous system front, another is the chemical front, endocrine system. You know, in the nervous system, we have got two types of nervous system. One is the voluntary and the involuntary nervous system. So we have the involuntary system comes into operation. It has two parts. One is the sympathetic, another is the parasympathetic. Sympathetic stimulation and parasympathetic, these two are there in the autonomic nervous system. That's involuntary nervous system that takes place. And what is happening is the sympathetic nervous system gets triggered in the stress reaction. It becomes higher. And As a result of this thing, all these changes happen. What? Sugar level increases, oxygen increases, and blood pressure increases, and blood flow increases. Everything happens because of the sympathetic stimulation. And then we have augmented by that with the endocrine system, as he was mentioning, the stress hormones, cortisols, and then all these things. Pituitary is the thing, thyroid, thyroxine, adrenal, cortisone, and number of stress hormones are put next. You can see all the stress hormones are produced to a greater measure than normally. Adrenaline, noradrenaline, cortisol, prolactin, growth hormone, thyroxine, DHA, all these are going to increase in the thing. What is the role of this thing? Again, the same thing. Increase heart rate, increase blood pressure, increase sugar, increase oxygen thing, everything is same. One is an electrical reaction, another is a chemical reaction. Both these things augment. If something fails, you have another thing. It's a redundancy that's built into our system. All these things happen wonderfully. Therefore, stress is a disturbed homeostasis. Stimulation of the sympathetic nervous system compared to this thing. And at the end of the situation, what should happen? You will come back. So, therefore, stress, there is nothing wrong. It's very, very necessary. It's a mandatory reflex that's built into our system. For example, if something is happening, demanding situation, fire is coming, you cannot sit quiet, System has to respond. So, understand that stress is necessary, it's a mandatory reflex, Then what are we talking? One side we say the stress is very bad, causes all these things and these things. Another side you say stress is very good, it is very necessary, it's a mandatory reflex. What is it that you are talking? Whether stress is good or stress is bad? What do you say? Good or bad? Bad. But it is necessary also. It is good, it is bad, both. When will it become bad?
From an evolution standpoint, it was meant to be when you had those responses in your body. Maybe a tiger was chasing you and you had to survive. But today, when we get all those physical changes in our body, but we are not actually being chased by a tiger. So that causes imbalances in our systems.
See, the disturbed homeostasis, at the end of the thing, it should come back to normalcy. So once the things we have gone out and found it was a wrong alarm that was there, so everything is okay, you come back to normalcy. The disturbed homeostasis will come back to normalcy. This is the normal thing that happens. But in modern life, what has happened? When it is coming down like this thing, you again trigger large number of demanding situations. From morning when you get up, house, you have to take care of the food, and then husband has to prepare, and you have to prepare the children, you are all running, and then you have to run to the office, and then you have a lot of problems, and then the traffic jam and whatnot, you reach somewhere, when you go to the office, just you want to relax for a few minutes. Suddenly there is a call. Our director says, come on, there is an urgent meeting we have to do this thing, you run there again. And you come back. And again you want to take a coffee or relax, again another problem. From morning till night in the office, this goes on. And when you come home, you want to relax. Children also are looking for you, and the husband also is there, again you have to do this. Whole day is full of this thing. So the things which are trying to come down, again is triggered, again and again it is. So what happens, the disturbed homeostasis will not come to normalcy, it will remain there. And the system stabilizes in the head of muscle stiffness and gastric BP, everything stabilizes, and over time, blood pressure gets stabilized. This is what's going to happen. And the reason as to why this disturbed homeostasis doesn't come back thing is one is large number of demanding situations. Go back to the thing. Other one, cause, back. Up back. One back. One is that. Second dimension is high sensitivity and sharpness. Small things that happen, we get upset. We have become very intelligent. Somebody makes a small comment and you get lost. You become very sensitive. You become very angry. Oh, how he can do this thing? I have not done anything. How he can do this thing? All these things happen. And you are a perfectionist. You have become very perfect. You want all your people should be perfect. If they are not coming up to the situation, then you become mad at this thing. Oh, this one they can't understand. What is the use of this thing? This also, they have no brain. What type of people? I don't want this thing. Perfection, that is. Target to be achieved. Target for the year, target for the month, target for the week, target for the day, target every hour. I remember one of my friend was putting the complete gas thing from Andhra Pradesh down to Gujarat, and the pipeline was to be put, and the pipelines will be combined and then there will be welding take place. And the person has to see that there is no leak. So he must see that no leakage occurs there. And he has to give the permission every hour. Only when he gives the permission, then it will go further. If they don't give the thing every hour, then he will be fined. So whole night, 24 hours he has to do this thing. Whole night he is always worried. This is target. So all these things are multifactorial things which makes us not come back to our normalcy. These are the external things that happen. Therefore, what happens as a result? Muscle stiffness. And therefore, you have back pain, spondylosis, all musculoskeletal problems, or gastritis, acidity, ulcer, BP, hypertension also is going to come out. Then sugar level will be there, and diabetes. All these things can be caused, depending on which aspect of your thing is there. So essentially, stress is an imbalance, a disturbed homeostasis. That's what is going to happen. So now, stress according to yoga. What is stress according to yoga? According to modern medicine, this is the thing. No? According to yoga, next. So we have the complete understanding of the whole world. In Upanishad, they try to understand whether this entire body is only the physical body, there is something else. So the Upanishad track, to find out, is this body the final? Annamaya kosha, pranamaya kosha, manomaya kosha, vijnanamaya kosha, anandamaya kosha. I will not go into the details of this thing, which has been described beautifully in the Panchakosha Vivarana in the Upanishad. You take that. So according to this thing, we have 5 layers. So initially, the student understood I am the Anna, then he understands it's the prana. I have a dead body and a living body. What is the difference? Prana is there. I may have the prana, but if I am unconscious, there is no mind, therefore the manomaya kosha. Then in the manomaya kosha, you may be mad, you may be neurotic. So you have to have control over the mind, and finally it comes. So this is the whole picture that we have, the 5-layered existence of the entire world. All of us have got 5 bodies, not merely physical body. What all we understood is in the physical body is fine, but we have got another 4 bodies that there. In the Anandamaya Kosha, it's absence of all miseries, and therefore it is a state of wonderful bliss. The example of that is sleep. Therefore, Manchanda was telling yesterday, to release the stress, every day you must sleep well. At least 6 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours you do. So all the stress that you generate should be able to relax. Sleep is a wonderful thing. That's the bliss or Anandamaya Kosha that we have. From there you come down to the next level, the Vijnanamaya Kosha, in which we have come to the action in sleep. In Anandamaya Kosha, mind is in an avyakta form. It is in the seed form. It is in the potential form. But once you come to Vijnanamaya Kosha, you come into action, but your knowledge is complete. Pramana. You have complete knowledge of the whole universe. You have the power, everything. So every action is governed by the right action that we have by the proper understanding. Therefore, there is no misery, there is no stress in the sense, and everything is in a perfect state. This is a state of perfect health, Vijnanamaya Kosha. From there you come down to the next thing, Manomaya Kosha, then perversions happen. From Pramana becomes Viparaya, which I was talking day before. The wrong knowledge starts in. And then excessive speed of the mind, faster mind. They turn themselves into emotions. And Bhagavad Gita beautifully brings about the understanding that emotions and thinking are not two different things. When the thinking becomes faster and faster and faster, it becomes emotion. Dehayato vishayan pansaha sangaha tesho padayate. That attachment starts when you go on thinking again and again. This is the whole principle of advertisement. When you go on putting the same thing, Maggie, you put it 100 times and then you get attached to the Maggie and you start developing the desire like this thing. So like this, advertisement also uses this thing. So Sangha. And from that you get into the anger. You want or you don't want it. Likes and dislikes. And these things turn themselves into anger, greed, jealousy, hatred, infatuation. All these things start happening continuously more and more. And what is the result of that? They start governing our life. We know what is right, but we don't do right things. Why? Because we are drawn by the emotion. As I was telling, diabetic person, when he sees wonderful gulab jamun and rasgulla and other things, which he is very fond of, he knows, no, I have sugar level. Doctor has told I should not eat. But there is a conflict that starts. Kurukshetra war. What is it? Buddhi is telling, no, 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 no. Here our doctor, here are these things, don't eat, don't eat, don't eat. Tongue it, come on, go and eat, go and eat. After all, life is for enjoyment, what is going to happen? And you can take one more diabetes tablet or a little more insulin. No, that's all. Life is for enjoyment. Come on, go and take. Then Buddhi also slowly succumbs. It says, hey, don't think that eating sweet and these things is something wrong. Huh? You are not doing any wrong things. Then you are doing a great act of service. Service by eating this thing. How? See, if you don't eat these things, how do the doctors survive? How do the endocrinologists survive? So you are doing a great service. So come on, eat. See how the buddhi gets perverted in the whole encounter. Then you go against it, then it brings the changes in the pranamaya kosha. Pancha pranas are all in a beautiful balance, just like in a clear lake. So essentially stress in the manomaya kosha is uncontrolled speed of the mind. That's the seed of stress. Much before it percolates down into the body, into the things, disturbed homeopathy is all there in the manomaya kosha, it happens. If you can track there at that time, you can deal with that thing. From there it comes to the pranamaya kosha. In the pranamaya kosha, everything is in a nice balance, like a clear lake. And when the adi starts hitting, it is something like throwing a stone, the whole thing gets disturbed. And prana starts moving hither and thither. There are 5 pancha pranas which are there. They govern all physiological functions in the body. Prana, apana, samana, udana, vyana. And all these things get disturbed. And that disturbance, is going to percolate down into the next level. Is it possible to track these things? You may be healthy, but everything can be already there. So fortunately we have got the biowell which can track what is happening in the pranamaya kosha. Therefore for all the patients and others, even normal people, we can find out what is happening to the pranamaya kosha, how the prana is disturbed, how this has affected every organ and system of the body. Biowell is a beautiful technological thing which has come up which can track pranamaya kosha. Just like we take a photograph of the physical body, we can take the pranamaya kosha, and find out which portion of the body is in trouble, which is in disturbance, how much is the imbalance, everything you can measure quantitatively. This is what we have been trying to do, that thing. So if you can correct in the pranamaya kosha itself, you have got prevention that is going to come up. So there is no way by which you can do prevention because we do not know what is happening there. So for prevention, which is the most important thing, we have to work on this thing. And later on you are going to see how our is going to tell homeopathy works at that subtle level. How that very, very minute things, diluted things, medicines work at the deeper level to correct the pranamaya kosha and brings about this thing. We have done a lot of research. We are going to continue that research for this thing. From there it comes down, starts hitting the higher centers of the brain, and adi starts hitting the pranic imbalance. From there it goes and becomes a vyadi. At the higher centers already we have seen. It starts bringing the autonomic imbalance, endocrine imbalance, and creates all the problems of the body that we have. That's what has going to happen, therefore. So, what is the whole genesis? Psychic phase, manomaya kosha. Psychological warnings will come. Then psychosomatic phase, pranamaya kosha. Hypertension, tremor, palpitations will all start seeing, but in the pranamaya kosha you can actually measure this dimension. Then it comes down to the somatic phase, in which target organs are affected by hyperactivity, hypothyroid and other. Then further it comes into the organic phase. This is how it gets condensed. Adi becomes the vyadi ultimately. And what are the things I have to do? That management of stress. Smoking, stop. As it was said, alcohol, cirrhosis of the liver, everything should be stopped, as Manchanda was very clearly telling. Yesterday a beautiful question someone asked, that there is a notion that if they take one peg every day, it will be helpful. But he said, no, that's God. Even small drop is going to be harmful. Then we take modern medicine which works only symptomatic level and no cure, because the root cause is not removed. Therefore, we have to see that the whole thing is to be done at the dimensions we have to do, and total rehabilitation of yoga. At the body level, we have the relaxation at the body level, breathing level, pranayama, slowing down of the breath, very important, and bringing a balance between the left and the right nostril, and bringing balance of all the panchakoshas, and work at the mind level to calm down the mind. So this is the whole approach that we are going to do this thing, and the integrated approach of yoga therapy, this is what we apply, and in our Arogadham, we have been doing these things and working all these things, you know. So people are warned normally. When you have the psychological warnings, then you understand there is stress, you know, working late, working obsessively, difficulty in making choices, difficulty in making decisions, excessive daydreaming, all these things are going to come up, and this leads to sexual indiscretion, sudden increase in drinking or smoking, inappropriate anger, excessive mistrust of associates, missing appointments and deadlines, all these things, the workers start seeing all these things. And confusion, feeling worthless, prolonged brooding, sudden reversal of usual behavior, everything can occur at the psychological level. So psychological questionnaires can also bring the dimensions related to state of the Vijnanamaya kosha coming down into the perversion that takes place. So recognition is most important. So we have to recognize our potential and the limitations of the stress. And therefore Swami Vivekananda said, each soul is potentially divine. You know, the goal of life is to manifest that divinity. That's what we do through the yoga dimension. So we have a lot of personality development camps and other things, also do IIIT for these things. With that, that gives you a broad spectrum as to how IIIT is being used, and already our Raghvendra Rao has mentioned many points. Now I request our Director of Homeopathy Research Council to give his ideas as to how hypertension is being handled by the homeopathic dimension. Over to you.
ओके नमस्कार, मैं सुभाष कौशिक हूं और मैं डायरेक्टर जनरल हूं सेंट्रल काउंसिल फॉर रिसर्च इन होम्योपैथी। और जैसा अभी गुरुजी ने बताया है और ये बताया हमारे जो डायरेक्टर हैं योगा के, इन्होंने सारी की सारी आपको बता दें कि हाइपरटेंशन होता कैसे और योगा से आप कैसे कर सकते हैं। अभी जो मेरा रोल है होम्योपैथी का, चूँकि मुझे लग रहा है मैं आई एम बिट मिसफिट हेयर चूँकि इतनी ज्ञान की बातें चल रही थी और मैं होम्योपैथी की बात बताऊंगा। तो होम्योपैथी में हम क्या करते हैं, टेलर मेड मेडिसिन हमारी होती है। हम जो है पेशेंट के हिसाब से मेडिसिन देते हैं। जैसे गुरुजी अभी बता रहे थे कि मेंटल स्टेट भी होता है, फिजिकल स्टेट तो लेके पेशेंट आता है हमारे पास, मेंटल स्टेट भी होता है, इमोशनल स्टेट भी होता है, पास्ट हिस्ट्री और फैमिली हिस्ट्री, ये सब चीज़ हम कंसिडर करते हैं। देयर आर टू टाइप ऑफ अप्रोचेज। एक तो रेडीमेड अप्रोच होती है कि ये मेडिसिन है और ये इस क्या बोलते हैं इस डिजीज़ पे कार्य करेगी। हमारे यहाँ ऐसा होम्योपैथी में नहीं होता है। टेलर मेड का मतलब है कि हम अपने हिसाब से उनको मेडिसिन सेलेक्ट करते हैं। दूसरी बात है, जो बहुत सारी ज्ञान की बातें हो रही थी उसी से रिलेटेड मैं बात करता हूँ। होम्योपैथी में हम बहुत सारे टाइप से प्रयोग करते हैं और जैसे रिसर्च स्टडीज़ हमारी हुई भी है और हम अभी गुरुजी के साथ भी शुरू करने वाले हैं। तो निश्चित बात है होम्योपैथी में बहुत अच्छे इफेक्ट्स हैं, क्योंकि योगा का एक और नेचुरल अलायंस जैसा है। जैसे योगा में नॉन थेरेपेटिक है, वहाँ पे मेडिसिन नहीं देते हैं। होम्योपैथी में बहुत सबटल जैसा बताया कि वो मेडिसिन का जो फिजिकल एग्जिस्टेंस रहता ही नहीं है, खाली उसकी एक लेटेंट पावर होती है किसी भी चीज़ की, जो पोटेंशियल उसकी पावर है, उससे हम उसको ठीक करते हैं, इम्यूनिटी को आपकी रेज करते हैं। और ऐसी इम्यूनो मॉड्यूलेटरी हमारी होम्योपैथी मेडिसिन है, वैसे हमारे पास प्रूफ भी है कि उससे आपकी इम्यूनिटी बढ़ती है। तो अभी जैसे हम बात करते हैं उसी बात को उसी कंटेक्स्ट में मैं बढ़ाता हूँ योगा का, और जो लाइफ स्टाइल डिसऑर्डर का, जो NCDs की बात कर रहे हैं, नॉन कम्युनिकेबल डिजीज़ की। तो 4 टाइप के क्वेश्चन होते हैं हमारी बॉडी को, हम अगर हम अपने आप को मान के चलेंगे तो एक तो फिजिकल क्वेश्चन होता है। अगर हम 25% हमारा फिजिकल क्वेश्चन होता है। फिजिकल क्वेश्चन का मतलब है कि जो हम फिजिकल सिम्टम्स हम देते हैं। कोई भी बीमार कब होगा, जब हमारी बॉडी अंदर से क्राई करती है। तो क्राई इन द फॉर्म ऑफ साइन एंड सिम्टम्स वो बताती है हमें। मैं अभी चल के आ रहा हूँ और नॉर्मल चल रहा हूँ और मुझे लग रहा है कि मेरे घुटने नहीं है, इसका मतलब मेरे घुटने ठीक हैं। अगर मेरा सांस नहीं फूल रहा है तो इसका मतलब मेरे लंग्स भी ठीक हैं। अगर हमें कहीं ना कहीं ये महसूस हो रहा है कि मेरे अंदर कुछ चल रहा है, इसका मतलब वी आर सिक। पहली बात तो फिजिकल क्वेश्चन, तो हम अपना फिजिकली फिट हैं या नहीं है, ये हम अपने जो लेबोरेटरी पैरामीटर्स होते हैं इससे पता लगा सकते हैं कि भाई हमारा ट्राइग्लिसराइड ठीक है क्या, हमारा ब्लड प्रेशर ठीक है क्या, हमारा डायबिटीज़ ठीक है क्या, हमारे ग्लूकोज लेवल्स ठीक है क्या। एक इसके बाद होता है एक हमारा ये जो है मेंटली क्वेश्चन बोलते हैं उसको, कि हमारा मानसिक स्थिति कैसी है। जो अभी बता रहे थे राघवेंद्र जी कि भाई ये जो मास्टर स्विच तो यहाँ पे है, हम कैसे, हमारा रिएक्शंस कैसे होता है किसी भी चीज़ के लिए, कोई भी एक्शन है उसका रिएक्शन कैसे होता है। जैसे अभी गुरुजी ने बताया फ्लाइट एंड फ्लाइट वाला, ऐसे होता है कि एक ही इमोशंस है, एक घर में सपोज 4 बच्चे हैं और पेरेंट्स में या मदर की डेथ हो जाती है तो 4 बच्चे अलग अलग रिएक्ट करेंगे, उसी के बेसिस पे उनका मेडिसिन सिलेक्शन या उनका रिएक्शन जो है उसी बेसिस पे पता लगता है उनकी पर्सनैलिटी क्या है। तो एक फिर 25% नेक्स्ट होता है उनका इमोशनल क्वेश्चन, उनके इमोशंस कैसे हैं किसी भी चीज़ के लिए, कैसे जैसे कहते हैं शेडो, हमारे जो थॉट्स है उसकी शेडो इमोशंस हैं किसी भी चीज़ के लिए। अचानक से जैसे कोई बच्चा है वो देख रहा है कि उसका रिजल्ट आया है और वो रिजल्ट आते आते देखा कि यार उसका तो नंबर ही नहीं है, ऊपर से देखा उसने कि नहीं है नंबर, तो उसके जो इमोशंस आएंगे चेहरे पे, उससे जो अंदर सारी जो लिम्बिक सिचुएशंस और ये सारी होंगी, उसके बाद पता है कि नहीं वो तो नीचे देख रहा था वो तो फर्स्ट डिग्री पे है, तो फर्स्ट नंबर पे पोजीशन पे, तो उसके चेंज हो जाएंगे। ये सारे इमोशनल क्वेश्चन होता है। किसी भी चीज़ को हम रिजॉल्व कैसे करते हैं, किसी भी सिचुएशन को, एक्शन जो हो रहा है उसको रिएक्शन कैसे होता है, ये भी हमारे इमोशनल मेंटल क्वेश्चन पे डिपेंड करता है। और जो सबसे मेन इंपॉर्टेंट जिसकी अभी बात हो रही है यहाँ पे, वो लास्ट 25% होता है हमारे स्पिरिचुअल क्वेश्चन। स्पिरिचुअल क्वेश्चन का मतलब होता है कि जैसे 2 टाइप के कार हो, कोई भी हम काम को देखेंगे 2 टाइप के काम होते हैं, एक अच्छा काम होता है, एक बुरा काम होता है। बुरे काम को छोड़ देते हैं। अच्छे काम भी 2 टाइप का होता है, एक छोटा काम होता है, एक बड़ा काम होता है। तो छोटे काम वो होते हैं जो हम अपनी जीविका के लिए दिन प्रतिदिन करते हैं, हमें अपना घर चलाना है, हम अपनी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन चलानी है, हमें अपने बच्चे पालने हैं, हमें अपनी जॉब करनी है, ये सारे के सारे हमारे छोटे काम है। बड़े काम होते हैं कि जब हम इन सबसे ऊपर उठ के काम करते हैं, वो बड़े काम होते हैं। हम समाज के लिए कुछ काम कर रहे हैं, हम किसी दीनहीन के लिए कुछ कार्य कर रहे हैं, जो जहाँ पे सबसे हमारी ज़रूरत है ज़्यादा, वहाँ पे जाके जो कहते हैं ना टिट फॉर टैट वाली, हम बगना किसी इच्छा के अगर किसी की मदद करें तो वो बड़ा काम होता है। तो ऐसे बड़े काम होते हैं, तो वो आपको इन सब चीज़ें जो आपने अभी आप सब या आप सुन रहे थे, वो सारी की सारी चीज़ों से आप दूर रहते हैं। हमेशा इसीलिए ध्यान रखें कि 3 टाइप के लोग होते हैं संसार में, जो अगर हम बात करते हैं कि जैसे कहीं जंगल में आग लगी हुई है, एक तो कुछ % तो वो लोग होंगे जिन्होंने जंगल में आग लगाई है, मेजॉरिटी ऑफ पीपल होंगे जो जंगल में लगी हुई आग को देख रहे हैं। आजकल देखते होंगे आप, एक्सीडेंट हो गया, कोई मुसीबत में है, कोई डूब रहा है, कहीं कुछ हो रहा है, एक्सीडेंट हो रहा है, तो लोग वीडियो बनाना शुरू कर देते हैं, वो खाली देखते हैं। और एक होता है कि जो आग बुझाते हैं। इसका मैं एक उदाहरण दूं कि एक बार एक जंगल में आग लगी थी, अभी मैंने कुछ समय पहले सुना था। तो एक चिड़िया, एक पास में नदी बह रही थी, वहाँ से चोंच में पानी भर के और उसमें डाल रही थी बार बार। तो किसी ने पूछा उससे, मतलब एक हाइपोथेटिकल है, भाई आपके इससे एक बूंद डालने से इसमें तो कुछ हो नहीं रहा, इतनी बड़ी आग लग रही है। तो उसने जवाब दिया, मैं कम से कम उन लोगों में नहीं हूँ जो जिसने लगाई आग और जो कम से कम देख रहे हैं, मैं अपना पार्ट प्ले कर रही हूँ, अपना जितना भी हो रहा है उसका एक अलग बात है। तो ये चीज़ आपके स्पिरिचुअल क्वेश्चन को बहुत ऊपर लेके जाती है। मतलब जब आप कुछ भी कहते हैं ना कि बहुत ज़्यादा स्ट्रेस है, बहुत ज़्यादा आजकल तो सोशल मीडिया है, टीवी है, अब इतना स्ट्रेस है, गुरुजी बता रहे हैं अभी कि हर जगह आपको भागा भागी है। तो जो हमारी पर्सनैलिटी ये हो गई है, उसको हम कैसे दूर कर सकते हैं? तो योगा तो सबसे बेस्ट है ये। और मैं 2008 से गुरुजी 2 अप्रैल 2008 से नॉन स्टॉप योगा करता हूँ। नॉट इवन ए सिंगल डे मैंने मिस किया। तो आप अगर अपने रूटीन में, इसलिए मैं अभी तक इस उम्र तक अभी 57+ हूँ, मैं अभी कोई मेडिसिन नहीं खाता हूँ किसी भी चीज़ की, और ना ही मुझे कुछ है। वो सिर्फ इसलिए कि एक तो 45 मिनट्स आप अगर सैर करना शुरू कर देंगे मॉर्निंग में, हमारे यहाँ एक हर्ट तो ये होता है, एक हर्ट ये भी होती है काफ मसल्स। ये जब लुप आपकी कटनी शुरू करते हैं, समझ लो कि आपकी शुगर लेवल सब नॉर्मल हो रहा है। ऐसे ही 15 मिनट्स का आप योगा मेडिटेशन का जो एक पार्ट है उसको करना शुरू कर देंगे, तो 1 घंटा अगर आप अपने लिए लगाते हैं, तो 1 घंटे के बाद आप बाकी 23 घंटे समाज को दे दें। और मुझे नहीं पता हम में से कितने लोग 6, 7, 8 घंटे सो पाते हैं। मैं कभी 4 घंटे से या 5 घंटे से ज़्यादा आज तक नहीं सोया पिछले 25 साल से, लेकिन मुझे कभी कोई परेशानी नहीं, क्योंकि मैं सुबह लगभग 15 से 20 मिनट मेडिटेशन करता हूँ। तो ऐसा सुनते हैं गुरुजी कि आधा घंटा मेडिटेशन 2 घंटे की नींद के बराबर होता है, जितना हम वो कहते हैं ना कि ब्रह्मरंध्र से जो हमारे अंदर एनर्जी आती है, ऐसे करके। तो ये मेरा मानना है कि ये सोशल मीडिया है, आपको मोबाइल भी देखना है, आपको रील भी देखनी है, आपको व्हाट्सएप भी देखना है, फेसबुक भी देखना और पता नहीं क्या क्या होता है, उस सब को आप अवॉइड नहीं कर सकते। बाहर बारिश तो हो रही है, ये तो बात तय है, लेकिन आप एक छाता तो कम से कम लगा के जा सकते हैं। यू कैन हैव सम प्रिकॉशन कि भाई चलो मुझे एक लिमिट में करना है, मुझे सोना है, मुझे जैसे गुरुजी बोल रहे हैं कि डीप ब्रीदिंग करनी है या ओवर रिएक्ट नहीं करना है किसी भी सिचुएशन पे, तो पर्सन टू पर्सन डिपेंड करता ही है। लेकिन ये कुछ ऐसा है कि लाइफ स्टाइल अगर हम चेंज कर लेंगे अपना, तो निश्चित बात है इससे फ़ायदा होने ही वाला है। और जो सैर करने की मैं बात कर रहा हूँ कि अगर आप सैर करते हैं तो एंडोट्रोफिन जो हार्मोन होता है हमारा, वो सिक्रीट होता है, वो हैप्पी हार्मोन होता है, आपको एक स्टेप ऊपर रखता है। अगर आप सुबह जब सो के उठे और 45 मिनट्स घूम के आ ही गए, तो आपको दिन में छोटे मोटे स्ट्रेस तो आपको काम ही नहीं करेंगे, बोले अरे कुछ नहीं होता, ऐसे ही है। या जब अंदर हम एंगर की बात करते हैं, तो एंगर में भी होता है कि अगर आप किसी को बर्स्ट करते हैं, तो पहले तो आप उसको पकाओगे अपने अंदर में, इसको ऐसे बोलूँगा मैं, अपने एम्प्लॉय को ऐसे बोलूँगा, सबऑर्डिनेट को ऐसे बोलूँगा मैं, ऐसे बोलूँगा। तो अच्छा, आपको अगर रोज़ की आदत है तो एम्प्लॉय क्या करेगा, उसको पता है कि पहले तो 1-2 दिन तो वो सीरियस लेगा, जब उसको लगा कि बॉस का तो काम ही डेली का ये है, तो उसको ऊपर वाले ने 2 कान दे रखे हैं, बोले यार ये बड़बड़ करेंगे अभी आधा घंटा, चलो सुन लेते हैं, फिर उसके बाद खत्म हो गया। तो जिसके लिए आप स्ट्रेस करें उसने तो लिया ही नहीं। आप ऐसे, आपके अंदर तो बहुत सारे एम्प्लॉयज़ हैं। मैं जैसे देखता हूँ हमारे पास 35 इंस्टीट्यूट्स यूनिवर्सिटी अक्रॉस कंट्री, तो हमारे पास हम प्रेशर कुकर रहता है हमारे यहाँ, लेकिन ये योगा से बचे हुए हैं, कोई अभी ब्लड प्रेशर नहीं है, कुछ नहीं। अभी मैं जब हम नए नए डीजी बने थे 3 साल पहले, तो हमारी डीजीज़ की मीटिंग थी, तो सब ने कहा अभी शुगर नहीं लेना, शुगर नहीं लेना। तो मैंने कहा नहीं, यहाँ शुगर डाल दो। बोला अरे कैसे डीजी हो भाई, शुगर ले रहे हो, अभी शुगर नहीं हुआ आपको क्या? तो ये सब चीज़ें हम कुछ लगाते हैं ऐसे कि भाई अगर हम बड़े पद पे जा रहे हैं या ज़्यादा स्ट्रेस में, तो हमें बीमारी होनी है। लेकिन ये बीमारी क्या होता है कि बहुत सारी चीज़ें कुछ तो हम पेरेंट्स से लेते हैं, कुछ तो उसमें हमारी गलती नहीं होती, हम बाई बर्थ बहुत सारी बीमारी लेके चलते ही हैं। लेकिन उसमें भी जैसे गुरुजी बता रहे हैं कि भाई बहुत सारी चीज़ें हैं कि आप अपने मन पे कंट्रोल करके उसको कंट्रोल कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि गिल्ट फीलिंग ऐसी होती है जो आपको मार देती है। अगर आपको पता है कि ब्लड प्रेशर है, डॉक्टर ने कहा कि नमक नहीं खाना, आपको डायबिटीज़ है और आपको शुगर नहीं लेनी है, और फिर भी आप ले रहे, तो डॉक्टर तो नहीं देख रहा, डॉक्टर ने तो अपना बोल के आपका काम खत्म कर दिया। लेकिन आपने अगर ले लिया तो आपकी सबकॉन्शियस में वो चली जाएगी बात, यार गलती तो की है, गलती तो की है। मैं बहुत सारे, गुरुजी में करीब 30 साल का मेरा अनुभव है मेडिकल प्रैक्टिस का, बहुत सारे ऐसे पेशेंट होते थे कि जो डायबिटीज़ हैं, हाईली डायबिटीज़, हमारी मेडिसिन ले रहे हैं, हम उनको बोलते थे, तो वो क्या करते थे कि जैसे वो कहीं पार्टी में गए, तो बहुत सारा जैसे क्या बोलते हैं मटर पनीर ले लिया या शाही पनीर लिया, उसमें रसगुल्ला डाल के खा लिया कि भाई नमकीन सब, उसका असर कम हो गया। तो ये मतलब किसको धोखा दे रहे हैं? धोखा देने वाली बात है ना, क्योंकि अंदर जाके तो सब ने अलग अलग ही हो जाना है। वो एक लेयर पे, मतलब पहले नमकीन की लेयर, फिर 2-3 रसगुल्ले, फिर नमकीन की लेयर खा लिया, चलो कुछ नहीं होता है। तो ऐसे करके अपने को बेवकूफ़ बनाने वाली बात है। तो अगर हमारे दिमाग में कुछ है और हमें लगता है, क्योंकि चाहिए तो बहुत होता है, हमें बहुत सारी चीज़ें चाहिए होता है कि भाई सुबह मॉर्निंग वॉक भी करना चाहिए, गुस्सा भी नहीं करना चाहिए, ये भी नहीं करना चाहिए, लेकिन करते कितने लोग हैं, ये सोचने की बात है। तो अगर ये प्रैक्टिस में हम उतारेंगे सारी चीज़ें, तभी हमारी अच्छी लाइफ होगी। जब मेरी खुद की अच्छी लाइफ होगी, क्योंकि ऊपर वाले ने एक अच्छा शरीर दिया है हमें, हाथ पैर दिए हैं, तो हमें उसको मेंटेन करके भी अच्छे से रखना है। ये सिर्फ और सिर्फ हमारी जिम्मेदारी है। इसके बाद एक हम आदर्श प्रस्तुत करें, अपने बच्चों को बताएं, अपने काउंटर पार्ट्स को बताएं कि भाई ये करने से ये होता है, ऐसे करेंगे तो ऐसा होता है। तो ये सारी की सारी चीज़ें अगर आप ध्यान रखेंगे, तो निश्चित बात है डॉक्टर्स की ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ेगी। और जैसे गुरुजी ने बताया कि हम तो वन साइडेड ही लोग चलते हैं, हम एक डायमेंशन में हैं, और जो ये NCD जो बता रहे हैं नॉन कम्युनिकेबल डिजीजेज, ये मल्टी डायमेंशनल होती है। तो एक डायमेंशन से, फिजिकल क्वेश्चन से तो कुछ होने वाला भी नहीं है। तो कहीं ना कहीं अपने को क्या बोलते हैं, इंट्रोस्पेक्शन करके अपने आप को सुधारना पड़ेगा। और जो बहुत सारे जिस चीज़ के लिए आपको भेजा गया है, अगर आप बीमारियों के चक्कर में रहेंगे, डॉक्टर्स के चक्कर में रहेंगे, तो उन चीज़ों से आप कहीं ना कहीं डेविएट होंगे। तो मेरी ऐसी आप सभी को शुभकामनाएं हैं। आपने मुझे इतने ध्यान से सुना, आप लोगों का धन्यवाद। और मैं कहता हूं कि आप खुद पे काम करके अपनी बॉडी पे जितना भी मेडिसिन से दूर जा सकते हैं, वो बहुत अच्छी आपके लिए होगा। और योगा निश्चित रूप से आपको सेटल करने में अपनी पूरी भूमिका निभाता है, ऐसा मेरा पूर्ण 100% बिलीफ है। सभी को नमस्कार। गुरुजी
के लिए होम्योपैथी के दृष्टि से क्या करना है? कल मंचंदा ने बताया प्रिवेंशन के लिए साल्ट को कम करना है, वॉकिंग करना है और स्लीप करना है, सब उसने बताया।
डॉक्टर मनचंदा क्या हमारे आर के मन अच्छा हार्ट वाले हैं? अच्छा नहीं गुरुजी, ये जो सेट पैरामीटर है वो तो सब है ही हैं, उसमें होम्योपैथी का अलग से कुछ नहीं है। होम्योपैथी की सेम डायग्नोसिस होती है। मेडिसिन हम कहते हैं कि जो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल मेडिसिन देते हैं, बहुत सारी ऐसी हैं कि जो जैसे बहुत सारे हैं कि अब सपोज एलोपैथी में कोई गया कि साहब मुझे सब कुछ ठीक है, मेरे सारे पैरामीटर ठीक है, लेकिन मुझे अच्छा नहीं लग रहा। अब अच्छा नहीं लग रहा का तो कोई टेस्ट नहीं है, लेकिन हम ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ देयर कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन वी कैन प्रिस्क्राइब मेडिसिन टू देम आल्सो। प्लस जो सॉल्ट इनटेक कम करना है वो तो है ही है, हाँ, जो वॉक करनी है वो तो है ही है। तो वो जो मैं अभी बात कर रहा था 4 क्वेश्चन की, उसमें फिजिकल क्वेश्चन पे हम खाली फोकस कर रहे हैं अभी। बाकी जो मेंटल क्वेश्चन है, इमोशनल क्वेश्चन है, स्पिरिचुअल क्वेश्चन है, अगर 75% हम अच्छा कर लेते हैं तो फिजिकल क्वेश्चन तो अपने आप ही अच्छा हो ही जाएगा। बहुत सारे लोग हैं जो पेरेंट्स की वजह से बीमार हैं, तो उनको और ध्यान रखना है ताकि वो अपनी प्रोजेनी जो नेक्स्ट जनरेशन है कम से कम अपने तक रोकें और उसके बाद उनको फॉरवर्ड ना करें। बहुत सारे आजकल बच्चे ओबेसिटी से हैं, डेफिनेट सी बात उनको ब्लड प्रेशर हो गई होगा। थायराइड की बहुत सारी प्रॉब्लम है, डायबिटीज़ इज़ वेरी कॉमन नाउ डेज। तो ये सारी की सारी चीज़ें कहीं ना कहीं वी हैव टू चेक अपनी जो हमारी एक्टिविटीज़ हैं, जो हमारे इमोशंस हैं, कहाँ पे हम कैसे कर सकते हैं। इसके लिए तो योगा मेरे हिसाब से तो बेस्ट है ही है। योगा में जो मेडिटेशन पार्ट है, जो प्रणव प्राणायाम पार्ट है, वो अनुलोम विलोम से गुरुजी मेरा खुद का अनुभव है कि बहुत सारे मेरे पेशेंट्स का ब्लड प्रेशर ठीक हुआ है, और इवन जो ब्रोंकियल एज्मा की कंप्लेंट्स थी वो अनुलोम विलोम से ही ठीक हो गई। तो ये तो अगर विदाउट मेडिसिन आपके काम हो रहे हैं और सिर्फ लाइफ स्टाइल में थोड़ा चेंज करके हो रहे हैं, तो इससे तो बेहतर कुछ हो ही नहीं सकता, विकल्प कुछ नहीं। बाकी अगर मेडिसिन का है तो जैसे कहते हैं ना कि एलोपैथी है या कोई भी मेडिसिन है, अगर वो डायरेक्ट डिजीज़ पे कार्य कर रही है, काम कर रही है, तो उसमें क्या होता है, एक सर्टेन जैसे लीटर 5 लीटर हमारा ब्लड है, तो उसमें एक उनको टाइटर एक बनाना पड़ता है कि इतने मिलीग्राम ऑफ दैट सॉल्ट शुड बी देयर फॉर 24 आवर्स। अदरवाइज जैसे जैसे वो डिप्लीट हो गया वैसे वैसे दे हैव टू अगेन इन्फ्यूज दैट सॉल्ट। तो अगर सॉल्ट पे रहेंगे तो फिर सारी ज़िंदगी कभी भी मेडिसिन से बाहर आ ही नहीं सकते। तो सबसे बेस्ट यही तरीका है कि आप उन सब मेडिसिन से दूर ही रहें, जब जिन लोगों ने अभी तक शुरू नहीं की है। क्योंकि अभी जब ये राघवेंद्र जी हाथ उठवा रहे थे तो 2 लोगों ने, एक मैंने और एक ने कहा था कि हमने बीपी अपना चेक किया था। तो हम तो वैसे रूटीन में चेक करते हैं कि सब कुछ ठीक है क्या। तो अगर आप लोगों को अभी तक कोई परेशानी नहीं है तो सबसे अच्छी बात है कि हेल्दी प्रैक्टिसेस की तरफ आप अपनाएं अपने आप को, जो नेचर की तरफ जाएं। बहुत ज़्यादा ये जो लाइफ स्टाइल डिसऑर्डर जो आजकल हो रहे हैं, इनसे जितना दूर रह सकते हैं, सोशल मीडिया से जितना दूर रह सकते हैं, रील से जो कितना दूर रह सकते हैं। आजकल तो रील वाला फैशन हो गया गुरुजी बहुत ज़्यादा, और वो लोग कह के लाख रुपया महीना कमा रहे हैं, हमें बेवकूफ़ बना के इमोशनली ब्लैकमेल कर रहे हैं हमें। और वो ऐसे आप करते रहो तो नॉन स्टॉप आता रहेगा, वो अनएंडिंग है। तो ये सारी की सारी चीज़ें पहले में तो होती थी, जहाँ न्यूक्लियर फैमिलीज़ थी, जहाँ पे हमारा कोई आगे पीछे नहीं है कि भाई मैं शाम को आया घर पे, मैंने बियर की बोतल खोल ली या वो वाइन ले ली और अपना टीवी के सामने बैठ गया, ये सब कर रहे हैं। हमारे तो परिवार हैं, लोग हैं, अड़ोसी पड़ोसी हैं, जितना हम दूर इन चीज़ों से रह सकते हैं। वो मैंने कहा कि बारिश तो हो रही है, बारिश से बच नहीं सकते, लेकिन कुछ रेन कोट पहन के, कुछ छाता पहन के, जितना आप अवॉइड कर सकते हैं इन चीज़ों को उतना किया जाए। और हर चीज़ का सोल्यूशन ये है कि सब कुछ सोल्यूशन आपके अंदर ही है। एक हमारे अंदर भी एक डॉक्टर बैठा रहता है जिसको पता है कि हमारे लिए क्या सही है, तो उसकी बात सुने, उसको रेस्पेक्ट करें। और चीज़ें सब होते, चूँकि जो अगर हम टाइटर पे आ जाएंगे कि इतने मिलीग्राम आपके 5 लीटर ब्लड में होना चाहिए, तो वो उसका अनएंडिंग प्रोसेस है। वो ऐसे स्प्रिंग है कि आपने ऐसे ऐसे दबाया, जिस दिन हटा देंगे वो एकदम से ऊपर बस्ट अप हो जाएगा। तो आप तो एक वो माया जाल में फंस गए, उससे आप बाहर कभी आ ही नहीं सकते। तो कहीं ना कहीं मैं ये नहीं कहता कि जो लोग अभी मेडिसिन खा रहे हैं एकदम से सब छोड़कर योगा में आ जाएं। वो टैपरिंग डाउन करना होता है, जो एक एक्सपर्ट 1-to-1 योगा एक्सपर्ट से बात करें तो जैसे जैसे होता है ना कि पैरेलल आप चलें, धीरे 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 टैपर डाउन होती रहेंगी मेडिसिन। और अदरवाइज तो अगर आप ये सब चीज़ें लाइफ स्टाइल डिसऑर्डर, लाइफ स्टाइल को अगर इम्प्रूव नहीं करेंगे, मॉडिफाई नहीं करेंगे, तो फिर तो वो तो दिन ब दिन प्रेशर होता है। अभी बॉडी उसको मेडिसिन को भी एज ए डाइट मान के काम करती है, जो आपको जी
कुछ स्पेशल प्रैक्टिस बनाया आज डॉक्टर राघवेंद्र राव, कुछ प्रैक्टिस उसके हिसाब से।
हाँ आई चलिए। हाँ
Okay. Sit straight. Rest your arms on your chair, elbows on the chair, relax your arms completely. Today I'll just teach you how to do breathing. This is very very important क्योंकि लोग जो अक्सर जो करते हैं मिस्टेक, they breathe through nostrils, not through the whole respiratory apparatus. क्योंकि प्राणायाम के लिए if you want to elongate the breath, you should know how to use your lungs completely, how to expand your lungs completely. Just to tell you a small thing, normal vital capacity lung is 6 liters. Okay, with yoga you can expand up to 18 liters, 3 times more. Yes,
Few times.
3 times more. Okay, so that much is the capacity with respect to yoga. So people have done, can increase the volume to 18 liters also. Okay, you heard about Michael Phelps? Who is he? Olympic, he holds the record for the highest number of Olympic golds in swimming. You know what is his secret? His secret is, his coach was there, he had come to India a long time back in 2008. His name is John Back. He's a big physiotherapist and a sports physiotherapist. So he used to teach him what is called frog breathing. This is nothing but Plavani Pranayam. Breathing, taking water, swallowing the air inside completely, expand the lungs. Okay, you keep on doing this. He used to do this 5-10 minutes, 15 minutes before he gets into the water. After doing that, you don't feel like breathing. So he doesn't have to come out of the water. And you know, in all the swimming races, you can see they win by point something seconds. It's so close. It's just few milliseconds, isn't it? So because he doesn't have to come up on the outside, out of the water, there's no drag. The drag is reduced. He's under the water most of the time. That is what is his secret. And what we said, this glossopharyngeal breathing is nothing but what is called Plavani Pranayam. So pranayam can do a lot of wonders with respect to hypertension. So let us know how to do the breathing. First one is abdominal breathing. So you have the diaphragm here, it's like a plate. Okay, this abdominal breathing will help in elongating the lungs upside and downside, vertically. Okay, the chamber of lungs will be pulled down by the diaphragm. So it helps in expanding the lungs down. Okay, so let us do this. Keep your hand, interlock your fingers, keep it on your abdomen. Rest your arms on the chair. Now as you breathe in, expand the abdomen as forward as possible. Keep your back straight. Breathe in. Push the abdomen forward. Breathe out. Suck the abdomen inside. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. What is this doing? This is not only increasing your lung capacity here, but it is also increasing the abdominal pressure, pushes the venous return more into the heart efficiently, okay, increase venous return to the heart and helps the heart to relax. It doesn't have to put more effort. Okay, so abdominal breathing is very, very good to relax your heart. Okay, next one is keep your shoulders broad, interlock your fingers on your chest like this. Now as you breathe in, expand your chest forward like this. Expand, make it big. Breathe out. Breathe in. 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 Breathe out. Now you can feel the middle of the lungs are getting inflated much. So usually when you start normally breathe no, your basal lobe of the lungs are usually inflated. You don't activate your middle lobes and you never activate your upper lobes. Okay, so if you look at tuberculosis, people get tuberculosis, it usually affects the upper lobe of the lungs. Why? Blood circulation is very less. Hardly the lungs are used there. So the cavities are formed usually in the upper lobe of the lungs. Okay, that's because of this problem. So you can improve the upper lobe by doing this exercise. Lock your elbows, put it on your head, keep your head neck straight. Okay, lock your elbows and palms on opposite elbows. Now as you breathe in, I'll just show you what you should do. Separate your arms away from the head. Don't move your head at all. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe on your head. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Feel the lightness in your shoulders. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Last one. Breathe in. Feel the feeling of the lungs between your neck and your shoulders. Breathe out. Slowly bring your arms down. Feel the relaxation in your shoulders and your neck muscles. Feel better? Right? So imagine when you do all the three together. Okay, it will really help. So sit straight. Now breathe in, expand the abdomen, chest, and elevate your shoulders up like this. Breathe in. Breathe out, collapse the shoulders first, then the chest, and then the abdomen. Mentally count as you breathe in. 5 counts as you breathe in, 5 counts as you breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Effort to be made to expand the lungs as much as possible and collapse the lungs and throw out all the air as much as possible. Breathe out. Breathe in. 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 Breathe out. Relax. Press back. Feel the lightness in your whole body, especially your chest, your abdomen, your shoulders. You can also feel the tingling sensation in your fingertips. The upper half of the body appears to be more light compared to lower half. Allow the breathing to come back to normal by itself. Just observe the breathing. You don't feel like breathing at all. Feel the emptiness within this room. Now we'll do Brahmari Pranayam. So in this, put your thumb on your ears, all 3 fingers on your eyes and your nostrils, close your nostrils. Now as you breathe in deeply, expand your abdomen, just as you breathe out, chant Makara. Put your chin to the chest. When you bring down, you should put your chin on the chest and when chanting Makara. Release. Feel lots of Makara soothing your brain. There is a vagus nerve which goes from your hypothalamus, brainstem, goes through the middle ear cavity, and this is stimulated using Makara or Omkara chanting, and this can bring down your blood pressure very easily. Simple thing. Anybody having high BP, headaches, ask them to do this breathing and Brahmari Pranayama and then check. His headache will just vanish. Okay, do Pani. Relax. Feel relaxed. So this is a simple thing which anybody with high BP can do. Okay, it is not contraindicated. Just the act of breathing and Brahmari Pranayama, you just check the blood pressure, it will at least come down by 10 mmHg of mercury. Easily it will come down. Okay, and they can be rested. I will tell you a patient, those who work with cancer patients, and they should give a lot of medicines for the patients when they are having chemotherapy. Patient already has anxiety. They are taking drugs, they are taking medicines to reduce nausea, vomiting, they are taking painkillers, they are taking so many things. Heart rate is to just go up. They should have palpitations because of the chemotherapy drugs, because some of them are cardiotoxic. Okay, so whatever medicines they gave, that was a big problem in oncology setup for the cancer patients. Doctor said somehow try to see how can we make the patient calm. The tachycardia is there. Pulse rate goes up almost 120, 130, 140. Pulse rate, it goes to 130, 140. Okay, so doctors used to say what to do with this, just give anxiolytics, everything for the patient and all, put high dose. I said, what you want to do? You have already put them on so many medicines, and that's what is causing this problem. Again, why you are putting more medicines? So this breathing exercise, we start training patients before they do the chemotherapy. Palpitations came down almost 40%. They never had, most of them. So now this has become a protocol in our hospital there. So everybody before chemotherapy, they are taught these 2 exercises. Apart from that, there are some more exercises for nausea, vomiting. This is a mandatory for everybody who want to go to chemotherapy, 20-minute program. Okay, so palpitations come down, blood pressure comes down, your nausea, vomiting also comes down. Okay, thank you so much.
So yesterday, Dr. Manjunath gave the IRT, QRT, relaxation techniques, and also breathing, hands in and out breathing and others. Today, he brought the subabdominal, thoracic, and upper clavicular breathing, full breathing. Breathing is very, very powerful, most important to deal with this thing. So similarly, at the Manomaya Kosha, emotional thing, we are going to have our japa, that is, the aspect which is very important to deal with the mind. For that, we will today sing a small bhajan as we did day before yesterday. This is on Omkara. Omkara japalena ye jivana banana ye jivana Omkara yaha jivana Omkara. Omkara japalena ye jivana banana ye jivana Omkara यह जीवन ओंकार। ये आकार है शब्द का मूल, ये आकार है उकार मध्यस्था, उकार मध्यस्था, मकार अंत है, मकार अंत। यह जीवन ओंकारा, ओंकार जप लेना ये जीवन बनाना, ये जीवन ओंकारा, यह जीवन ओंकारा। ओंकार जप लेना ये जीवन बनाना, ये जीवन ओंकारा, यह जीवन ओंकारा। ये जागृत है आकार रूपी, जागृत है आकार रूपी, स्वप्न वैचित्र्य बुकार, स्वप्न वैचित्र्य बुकार, सुषुप्ति सारमकार, यह जीवन ओंकारा। सब साथ में ओंकार जप लेना ये जीवन बनाना, ये जीवन ओंकारा, यह जीवन ओंकारा। ये ओंकार है परब्रह्म रूपा, ओंकार है परब्रह्म रूपा, आकार सृष्टि का, उकार स्थिति का, मकार प्रलय का, यह जीवन ओंकारा। साथ में ओंकार जप लेना ये जीवन बनाना, ये जीवन ओंकारा, यह जीवन ओंकारा। ये जीवन है शब्द तरंगा, नाम रूप भेदा, नाम रूप भेदा, देश काल रूपा, देश काल रूपा, यह जीवन ओंकारा। ओंकार जप लेना ये जीवन बनाना, ये जीवन ओंकारा, यह जीवन ओंकारा। ये ओंकार है देशातीत, काल से अतीता, स्वरूप अव्यक्ता, यह जीवन ओंकारा, यह जीवन ओंकारा। ओंकार जप लेना ये जीवन बनाना, ये जीवन ओंकारा, यह जीवन ओंकारा। ये ओंकार मंत्र का मूल, ओंकार है मंत्र का मूल, अजप साधन का, जप साधन का, जीवन सार्थकता यह जीवन ओंकारा ओंकार जप लेना ये जीवन बना ये जीवन ओंकारा यह जीवन ओंकारा यह जीवन ओंकारा। मन में ओंकार को रखते हुए जप करेंगे ओम। ऐसे मन में ओंकार को उच्चारण करेंगे आनंद से। पूरा सांस लेना, ओंकार को मन में बोलना। और एक बार सांस पूरा लेना, मन में ओंकार को उच्चारण करना मन में। और एक बार सांस पूरा लेना, ओंकार को मन में। पूरा सांस लेना, जब ओंकार को बोलेंगे जोर से, संपूर्ण शरीर में उसका कंपन का अनुभव करना है। फील द रेजोनेंस थ्रू आउट द बॉडी। Feel the vibrations, wonderful relaxation throughout the body. Take a full breath again. Feel the vibration from toes to head. The body should resonate. And you match the frequency of the body with the Om, you get the resonance. Third round, inhale. Wonderful vibration, throat from toes to head, beautiful resonance, relaxation completely. The mind with filled with Omkara. Inhale fully, the same Omkara repeated in the mind now, and feel the vibrations in the body. Inhale fully, Om in the mind. Second round, inhale fully and repeat the Om in the mind. Feel the vibrations in the body. When we do the japa in the mind, you should feel the japa throughout the body. Like Hanuman was doing Ram Ram, Rom Rom mein Ram Ram ho raha tha uska. One more round, inhale, repeat the Om in the mind, feel the vibrations throughout the body. Feel the vibrations spreading throughout this entire room, going beyond, merging with that wonderful, beautiful sky, Ananta Samapatti. Tune yourself to the Anandamaya Kosha, full of happiness and bliss. Let us maintain that wonderful bliss throughout this evening and night. And again, before you sleep, you remember this Atma Sthiti, Anandamaya Kosha, full of happiness and bliss. And full of happiness and bliss, Shanta Sthiti. Let us spread the fragrance of that love and bliss to everybody. Come to Namaskara Mudra. Let's hold this Shanti Mantra. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyanto, ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you all very much. The wonderful presence today. We're really grateful that we have two directors who came from the government also to share their experience. Thank you so much, Raghvendra, Tubji, and wonderful. And we have all our very close sort of family members, they have been coming here and doing this thing. Probably you know that here in this outpatient thing we have naturopathy, Ayurveda, yoga, everything goes on. People can come any time of the day, morning or evening, afternoon, depending on their time. And our therapists are there and yoga teachers are there, doctors are there, and they will take care of them. And then there's completely, it's all freely done for these things, and people can make use of these things to their maximum extent. With that, we close this 3 days program completely, and probably later on when I come back again, we can have a similar thing. Maybe we can do it maybe in CCRYN and some other place also. We can plan doing these things, So thank you very much. All the best. Good luck.